This is live from CraftAlive Perth. You're watching an episode of Not-for-Profit Group Speed Dating. And in the hot seat today, we welcome Susie from FeltWest. Susie, tell us a little bit about FeltWest and your role.
Hi, yes, I'm Susie Dobson. I've been a felt maker for about 30 years now, and I found FeltWest about 30 years ago. We're a not-for-profit organisation, membership-based. We love sharing our skills and knowledge. In fact, we're all about making sure that our skills are passed on to the next generations. Basically, we meet up to 4 times a month for various reasons. We do workshops, we have meetings, we talk about the things that we've made, and generally have lots of good chats and cups of tea.
So how do we learn more about FeltWest?
We have a website, feltwest.org.au. Our homepage is all the events that are happening. We run from February to November throughout the year, and the homepage is actually just all of the events that are sequentially down. And at the end of this year, the calendar starts to fill up for the following year. We do from very, very beginners in both wet felting, which is this kind of stuff, and needle felting, which is these gorgeous little things down here. Our tutors are all local, and a lot of them are internationally known. They're fantastic tutors.
So talk to us a little bit about those 2 different types of felting methods you've talked about. So wet felting.
Wet felting, because we use water. So all felting starts with what we call a roving. It's unspun wool. So what you knit with is spun wool. The trick for us is getting the wool that's not been processed. You know that you can get machine washable knitting yarn. We don't want that because it means it's been treated. We want it before it's treated so that it does shrink. So wet felting is 3 phases: a laying, a pre-felting and a fulling. So we start off with this, and really it depends on what you're making as to what happens in those 3 processes.
A fulling. What's a fulling?
Fulling is a process of, we used to toss and make things bounce, and you know, as one lady said earlier, I used to whack it a lot like this, and we don't have to actually do that anymore, but there is agitation involved in that process. But it's the part where the wool starts to shrink, because all of the things that are made in wet felting are twice the size laid out as to what they end up.
So fulling is actually quite the opposite of what it sounds like. It's actually shrinking.
It is, yes. Actually, I've never thought of it that way, but yes. So I don't know why it's called fulling. I have a feeling it's a very old hat-making term from the old rabbit fur hat days. And look, felting is one of the oldest crafts on earth. They found ancient felt in the Gobi Desert, in tombs, in all kinds of archaeological places, because wool is such a tough fibre that it doesn't degrade that easily. So in a place like the Gobi Desert where it's very dry, they estimate that the pieces are 1,500 years old. So it is one of the truly ancient crafts.
This shouldn't be called not-for-profit speed dating. This should be called fun facts.
And then there's needle felting, which is these gorgeous little creatures here. And I must bring Jules into focus. He is just incredible. He's ready to go to the moon again.
Well, turn Jules around. Let's have a proper look.
He's got a
my gosh.
and his own little suitcase, and he's just absolutely gorgeous. Needle felting is exactly what it sounds. It's the process of taking, once again, unspun wool, and with all different needles, literally stabbing it. And there's little tiny barbs on the needles that actually entangle the felt fibres together, and you end up with these gorgeous things.
So for somebody that maybe has never felted in any shape or form, how is it easy to get involved? How do they go about it?
One of the things that keeps cropping up is people think we're an expensive craft. We're not actually. You use very little wool. Well, I should qualify that and say, depending on what you're making, of course. And you don't actually need that many tools unless you choose to go in different directions. I myself have a machine that does the rolling part of the wet felting my body can't do it manually anymore. So we've actually developed a lot of tools and techniques to get around a lot of those things. So basically, come and do it. The best way is to do a beginner's workshop with FeltWest, and we will teach you the fundamentals. And then it's up to you in which direction you go. As you can see with all the display we have everything from bags and hats to sculptures to wearables, and all of those things involve different techniques, but the fundamentals are the same. So the best way, and look, there are lots of YouTube videos out there on how to felt, but the one thing I would say, if you're going to watch YouTube, is that is one way of doing it. There is not a wrong and right way. It's just to make sure that you get quality felt when you're finished.
Susie, thank you very much for your time. Just remind us again, how do we get in touch with FeltWest?
On our website, feltwest.org.au. And I'd like to thank CraftAlive for having us.